call may be recorded or transcribed.
Hey, my big old friend.
Welcome to another edition of DMV Sports Show. I'm your host, Rashawn McGee. It's Saturday. That's right. It's Saturday to hear the sports that you want to hear on your weekend. And guess what? We got a lineup of sports that you wouldn't believe. And it's going to start with the Washington Commanders and what they have in store for us during the training camp. We're also going to talk about we're going to talk about the Washington Wizards. We're going to talk about the Washington Wizards. We're also going to talk about the DC United. We also want to talk about the Washington Defenders, in the USFL. We're also going to discuss Baltimore Orioles and the Olympics, which is the next Friday. So, folks, it's going to be a fun-packed, hour. So I say sit back, relax, and kick up your feet. We're just going to go and go dive in to the sports that you want to hear on your weekend. So with that being said, we're going to have a panel of really good sports-minded people that will help us along the way, answer some questions and give their thoughts on the sports coming up pretty soon. We're also going to give some insight. We're supposed to have some more people come in and they have some questions that they wanted to actually talk about. So we're going to talk about that as well. Make sure you call in 512-543-4662. I say again, slowly, 512-543-4662. Make sure you state your name for the record and what team you represent. And don't be shy. If you have a question that, pertaining to your team, go ahead and ask it. We don't discriminate here, so we don't judge here. So, with that being said, let's start the show. So, the training dates have been set, and they've been selling like hotcakes. The only two that is left is July the 30th and August 1st. And folks, this is real. This is the first time the tickets have been sold out. It's really a good thing. So it's a really good thing when the Commanders sell out their training camp tickets, because it actually says a lot about training camp, that everybody's expectations have been met on the outside of the football. Now, there's still a little bit of certainty about who we're going to get, because, a lot of people I spoke with said they want Brandon Ayuk to be here. But the idea is who we're going to give up to get Brandon Ayuk. And a lot of people that I spoke to are really suggesting one player. And I'm pretty sure my panel is going to really wreak havoc of it once they figure out or hear what I'm about to say, what this player is. I'm going to say it. And I have a very, very big, strong view about this, but the majority of fans I spoke to want Scary Terry to be traded so we can get Brandon Ayuk. I'm speechless, but I'd rather get to my teammates.
I got something to say.
I know, and I'm pretty sure Coach has a lot to say about this. My thoughts are going to be very, very personal, but I got a panel here that will actually speak their minds as well. Also, we're going to talk about the defense side of the Commanders, which is, as we said before, I'm a defensive minded guy, but we have a lot to unpack, because this is mainly a transition into something great, but to lose part of what makes us strong is really going to really hurt this team. But moving forward, we're also going to talk about the Wizards and their preseason game. They did well in the first game. The second game, not so well. Third game, they killed it against the Kings. We're going to get to that in a moment about the players and what that means in impactful. We're going to talk about the Baltimore Orioles. Now, the Baltimore Orioles, they won last night or yesterday against the Texans handily. I mean, they look fresh. They look like they were on tear for another run for that moment to be the champs again. I will get to the score in a moment, and as well as the Yankees score as well. Lou might be coming in a little bit, or maybe not. But we're still going to pack some really good answers and little good questions. So we're also going to talk about the Paris Olympics, which is next Friday, which is crazy. Time flies when you're having fun. 4 years went by that quick, folks, and the Olympics are here. There's one particular person out there that is really is sending out shockwaves, and the Olympic Committee is not really happy about, and that's Sha'Carri Richardson. Sha'Carri Richardson, who was later found out that she had been taking a steroid that was banned, is now back with the vengeance, and she's been clean for 4 years, and she has not lost a step, folks. And this woman is really upset about not making the Olympics the last 4 years. So now this year, she's on pace to break world records across the board. And the last woman to do it was Gail Devers. Gail Devers, who set that amazing record in track and field. Sha'Carri Richardson, let me get her name right, is actually on tear to break her record and more. Also, the USA team is actually on pace to break another medal, another gold medal record in the swim meet, as well as basketball. So be sure to call in 512-543-4662. Folks, you don't want to miss this 1 hour show because it's going to be insightful. With that being said, let's start the show. So we're going to talk about the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders have actually settled down offensively, and they feel like the one piece they are missing is Brandon Ayuk. Now, Brandon Ayuk is the wide receiver who was formerly a 49er, and the 49ers do not wish to make Brandon Ayuk a 49er, but it turns out that the 49ers did in fact send Brandon Ayuk a offer sheet, and it seems like his agent Brandon Ayuk has rejected that offer, and it said that the Commanders are looking into signing Brandon Ayuk, but then again the question still remains: who are we giving up, or what are we giving up to get him? Or what cash, or what future picks, or what persons are we letting go? And that's the bigger picture, because again, I have said it before, this organization is known to give away people that could potentially help this team go over the hump, and that is our nature. We have gave up really great players, and they went on to do great things for other teams and help them go to the playoffs and beyond, while we look on the outside looking in. If this article is true, or this reading that I've been reading and fans are agreeing, then we're in trouble. Yeah, we might have a great defense, and let me dispel some of the rumors about this particular saying that one person doesn't make a great team. I beg to differ, because we have seen players on our team excel in this organization and do great things for us, and then leave and do extra better things with other teams. I can give a whole list, and this whole list that I have really proven my point over the years. And I can go through the list. I can go through, John Jansen. I can go through Chris Samuels. I can go through Brian Arapaho. I can go through Kennard Lang. I can give you the whole shebang of players that were on this team and done very, very well for other teams and excelled there and retire as the other team's favorite player. And then as we look outside and looking in, and the players we got over the drafts or trade did not fare well here as we actually saw in other regimes. Let me further explain that. What does this mean about Brandon Ayuk? Well, Brandon Ayuk is probably the best fifth wide receiver that we can have that can stretch the field and then gain yardage when we're in 3rd and 15 or 3rd and 11 or 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7, or possibly put us in the red zone. So for us to actually entertain the more talent that we have, it's not a bad thing. But when you start giving up talent versus talent, knowing that we need talent, it becomes a very problematic thing. I'm going to open up the panel, and I'm very, very happy to say the panels here is going to express some of the most sports-minded issues that I can ever imagine. We got Eric. What's up, Eric? How you doing, man? We got Coach, and then I think we got Big Steve here, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have their comments ready because I got to get to the panel right now. So the question is, who do we give up to get Brandon Ayuk, or are you okay with the draft picks to get Brandon Ayuk? Let's start with Eric and then with Big Steve. All right, let's go with Big Steve and Eric.
Okay. Hey, how y'all doing, everybody? Hey, yeah. You know what I would do? I would give up Jonathan Allen because he likes to complain a lot. So I would give him just a straight up trade. Trade him for a nuke, and that's a straight up deal. Because like I said, we got other decent. Remember, we picked up Newton. From Illinois, so but I just heard he's gonna be out for the year.
Yeah, that's pretty much right. Yeah.
We also got Mathis. So Mathis and don't forget the rest of the defensive line. We got a good line. Get rid of Jonathan Allen since he like to complain so much. Trade him. You know, I heard about the scary trade thing, which is ridiculous. That's never gonna happen.
Yes.
So,
That's right.
So I've
seen some words online.
Exactly. So I say trade Jonathan Allen for a nuke, and because 49ers need a defensive tackle, so that's a straight up trade.
All right. What you think, Coach?
Okay, I just got off of Terry McLaurin's fan club. They got every freaking word in the book on there. They're not taking it off either. Are you freaking crazy? That's what they're saying. I mean, not that word either.
Right.
I
hear you.
The word.
I got you.
And Terry he's phenomenal.
Right.
I would not, never, no. And a coach's position, no way. No. It'd be foolish. That'd be crazy, you know?
Right. I totally agree.
Why do they want to give away Ayuk? Why? That's what I want to know.
All right. Well, let's see what Eric says, and then I give my take on it. Eric, what do you think?
Hey, y'all. Ayuk, I mean, I don't like all the noise that's coming from him. I'm not convinced. I'm not saying he's not, but I haven't really seen enough of him myself personally, right, to lose my mind over him. I think the team is doing a great strategy of just sit and wait and see what happens.
As I understand, he's still under contract for the rest of the year over there. So we don't necessarily have to be in a huge hurry. But and I know it's 2024. We got different generations do different things, different ways. But I would, you know, I'm just not feeling all the noise coming from him. It smells like too much like drama.
Yeah.
And
Don't sound like.
Yeah, as far as IU goes, it's I think our Skins front office is doing exactly what they should do. Just
Okay. So my thing, okay, let's go through what the 49ers contract with them is. So they have a 2024 cap hit of 14 mil. The cash they have on is 14 mil, and their career earnings is about 12 mil. So how much is Brandon Ayuk worth? He's worth 14 million right off the bat. So here's the thing that's actually more problematic than anything. That means we would have to take over his current contract plus incentives, which is not a bad thing, 14 million. So what we have to do is let go of people who are combining 14 mil. Now, where would that 14 mil come from? That is the problem we are having right now as discussion, because that would basically either come from two places, special teams or the defense, like Steve said. I would definitely put a package together for Jonathan Allen and give Fidarius Mathis a shot. But then again, you have to also understand is that presence in the middle it cannot be duplicated, but it can be sustainably comforted by Fidarius Mathis and another DT that we have on the reserves. Bringing in another question. Who do we give up in that package? Because, you know, Jonathan Allen alone is not going to be enough to get Brandon Ayuk. So
that's enough.
I wouldn't say so, because if you look at it, Jonathan Allen is injury prone too. Because remember, his hand got hurt. Yes, I think it was it last year? I believe, last year, and he was out for majority of the time. So
he's getting $15 million a year, which it's about the average. A nook.
Well, a nook is 14 mil though. Yeah, but they're going to want more.
A nook he wants $30 million a year.
Okay, so
Good Lord.
now
He's going to be the second highest player at wide receiver at the Jefferson, because you know Jefferson and Brown and them, they got $32 million a year. So
well,
we want to give about $30 million a year.
Well, let's look at Brandon Ayuk's current rookie contract. He has 4 years, 12 million. 12 mil. His average salary is 3 mil. His signing bonus was 6. His GT at the signing was about 12. So the total GT as of today is 12 mil. So he's looking to capitalize at that after his rookie, contract lapsed. Then they're gonna have to give him his 30 mil only if he improves, right? So here's the thing. I think we're gonna get Brandon Ayuk. And this is why. I don't think we're gonna get him at his asking price. I think we're gonna entertain his rookie contract. And I believe that one of the players on our roster is not going to be here. I do not understand why Scary Terry's name was brought up. Now, first it was not Scary Terry they brought up. It was Johansson.
Yeah, that don't make sense.
They brought up Johan Dotson as
Now,
potential.
I don't know where did you read that Terry, that these fans are saying, yeah, we need to,
Well, I spoke to. I spoke to.
It ain't the fans, trust me.
Well,
You talking
majority.
to Dallas fans?
No. Listen,
Terry is the team.
here's
He may not be the fastest or anything like that. But I tell you what, he's the heartbeat of this team.
here's
He's the heartbeat of this team, and I tell you what, you get rid of Terry, and it will be ugly in Washington.
of course I totally agree.
Big time.
But see, here's the thing. Here's the thing with our team. Our organization always has this one knack about them. When a new regime comes in, they always go after the fan favorite and let go of fan favorite. I can give you a ton of problems with the new regime coming in. Remember Antonio Pierce? He was the star of our defense, and he was trying to get a new deal. As he's trying to get a new deal, something was said. They didn't like it. His agent didn't like it. He didn't like it. And this started to have a friction. Well, they decided they ended on bad terms, and he winded up with the New York Giants. And he killed us every year for two games. And then not only that, LeVar Arrington, same thing. He had a problem with the new regime. They didn't want him. He was asking for money. They didn't want to give him the money. They felt like he was just a problematic thing. They said he was giving away secrets to the team, and then he went to the New York Giants and killed us.
That don't surprise me.
So
Somebody was.
this is what I'm saying. We always have a history. We were giving away good players, and I don't need to bring up Ron Rivera. I don't need to bring up, North Turner. I really don't need to bring up, Marty Schottenheimer. I really don't need to bring up, Alfred Morris. This is what our
Let's go back. We had Chase.
Yes.
We lost him.
Yes.
We lost two darn good defensive players.
Exactly.
Look what happened.
Exactly.
Look what happened.
I totally agree.
Now, you're going to do that with a receiver that can catch a ball from behind his head. You're going to do that?
And that's the question.
I'm getting ready to say something I ain't going to.
No, I agree with your sentiment.
Think about Ayuk. He's a decent player, obviously, but I'm just not sold on him that he is completely in that top
why
level.
is that team wanting to keep him completely?
Well,
It's
completely.
like, we could bring him
And with
here, and it makes a good story with him and Daniels and stuff like that. That's cute, but I just don't like all the drama.
no, I totally agree, Eric, and that's the problem with I'm having as well, because now we have this is what I've been saying all of last show. We have the components in place on offense for the very first time in decades that we can actually feel that the tide is turning on the offense. Now it's up to the coaches to put all this together. Now they want to bring in a X factor wide receiver that could potentially be a big breaking moment for us. Now he could be actually a kickoff returner. He does have the speed, and he has the agility and breakaway speed to actually be another Brandon Banks, Desmond Howard, Devin Hester like type of wide receiver / kick returner. And we never had that since Desmond Howard and Brandon Banks and Jamison Crowder, who's on the team right now, type of thing. And this is why I believe this is actually a good thing for us. But, there's always a but. We always have to sacrifice the lamb. We don't need to sacrifice the lamb. We just need
to do that.
Exactly. And to answer your previous question of where did I get this notion that it was Scary Terry, I have Commander fans in the state of Virginia who I talk to on a daily, and a community of them, and they advocated, well, why not Scary Terry? And I keep telling them, are you out of your mind? This is primarily the best.
They're going to get a cactus delivered to them.
Redskins there anywhere that wants to get rid of Scary Terry.
Well, there's a community.
I agree with you. It's like, look, to be honest, yeah, he's lost half the steps since his injury. So what? You know what I'm saying? He's
Right.
still a productive, very fine receiver,
Right.
kind of a thing. He's the heart. I mean, it's like Art Monk. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Art
Thank
Monk
you.
was never the fastest, never the
Thank you.
100% best talent, but you can't get rid of him. That's your team, man.
Exactly.
He's
And
your leader. He's your heartbeat. And
He's
he's
a
there.
leader.
I mean, he might not produce at a 10, but he's damn sure producing at a 9, 9.5.
thank you.
What are you thinking?
No, everything you said it is everything I said to these group of people, and then their answer was look at the tangibles. And I mean, there's no tangibles to look at. He is by far the best wide receiver since Art Monk, since the great Gary Sanders and Gary Clark, and you're trying to actually tear him away from the organization so that we can get Brandon Ayuk. It doesn't make sense to me. And then
That
if,
don't make sense.
so I'm saying to myself, listen, we still got Dimey Brown. We can let go of him. We still got another wide receiver that we don't really need. You know, we can let go of them. And that would tally up to a much more reasonable of $12K, you know, it's not $12K, it's $12 million, and still keep our primary wide receiver in Johan Dotson and Scary Terry.
I agree.
So
It's like,
Exactly.
my boy Steve said, it's like, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, Jonathan Allen can go. You know,
yeah.
we don't need mouthpieces now. We don't need Jonathan Allen. We don't need Brandon Ayuk. People who do more talking than playing. We just don't need that right now. Jonathan Allen, I would trade him so fast. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's just me. I mean, I'm not saying that everybody should have that opinion because he was, kind of productive here, and he helped glue the team a little bit when we needed it. But at this point, I would trade him so fast. I mean, if you want to get Ayuk that bad, I would package him in just the same way Steve said.
I will. I would agree. I believe that would be the best way of him exiting out gracefully, because he have really stated over the years that he didn't want to be here because we kept losing. And I'm like, yo, keep that in house. Don't need to bring it out into the journalism and crush fans' hearts and stuff like that. But when you do that and you stoop that low, you bring a new level into your whole entire persona of how people would see you on the football field. If you don't care, and I understand that too, then you don't need to be here. You need to be in another organization with a whole bunch of other fan base, because you're really damaging your credibility amongst the fans. And to furthermore that is, if you truly wanted to be here, you would sacrifice your personal opinion about things and try to talk to your coaches who were probably at fault for having that abysmal coaching apparatus that you had done with the past 2 years on Monday night. But anyway, we're not going to get into that because the regime is over. We're in a new era right now.
We're in a new era.
Yes, and I feel like this is by far the most important thing we have ever seen in Commanders history. We have now by far the most talented roster on offense, right? We don't know what we got on defense, but we have a strategy. Now we don't know. Now we know that, Giants are getting a little bit better. Eagles have a little bit understanding what they want on defense. Dallas is nowhere to be found. We have the chance to win the East. We are going to be the favorite. But if we constantly keep shooting ourselves in the foot, just imagine how that would be if we're actually in the
gotten
run.
the fans up, and if they turn around and let go one of our most important players out of all of them, you're gonna have the same thing that's been happening these last so many years.
Totally agree. And that's when I heard, hear me out, folks. Hear me out, team, and hear me out, panel. if Dan Quinn sat there and listened to those group of people in Virginia that Scary Terry was expendable and just got traded, do you know how much of the fan base would not appear in the stands? And then you had Dan Quinn sitting there going, "Oh, we had to make a decision. It was a gut call that I had to make." Do you understand there would be a big blanket spot right behind his head?
Mm-hmm.
And people were like,
inflation, it's going to hit.
Yeah, I'm just saying. How then when he wins one game, and then the question how do you feel about the fans not being around in the back of your head? He was like, "I didn't know they were not there." Something like Ramon Vera would say. I feel like that is the nature of where we at as a nation, of a really historic nation. This is what I was talking about before. When you take a job like this, right? When you take a job like this, it doesn't mean it's just another job. It means it's a historic foundation and where people wrap their life around. Same thing when Ramon Vera took over. You know,
and their
kids around, exactly. And this is what I was saying about Ramon Vera taking this job, and he did what he did. Did he understand the severity of where he was? And my question and answer to that is no. And he really did not care. All he cares was about making this team a championship team, but forgot about the history of it. When he did that whole thing about making this a Commanders, he only thought about himself and what this really means, because he wanted to get.
He thought about himself. He just wanted to do enough that it wasn't a complete disaster.
Exactly.
And he almost failed in that.
Yes.
As far as that's concerned, the thing I keep in the back of my mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be okay, but I'm gonna bring it up because it was said.
Bring it up, man. Bring it up.
I think it was DQ that said, "Look, we want to be, a fast, explosive team." Okay, I get that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think we got Johnson to do that.
Right.
If we find a coach that uses them the right way.
Right.
That's it. But fast and explosive, that's fine. I guess IU can do that. But I'm just I just don't see him. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's good. He's very good.
Mm-hmm.
But is he generational in order to bust stuff up for? And I'm not there yet.
Well, to your question, I can answer your question like this. In his previous plays with the 49ers, Ayuk was the type of wide receiver that would get open in certain type of situations, like if you had him in the I formation, 3 wide receiver set, in the round, kickoff returns. He's useful in that nature. He's not going to beat you in a 5 wide receiver set, and
You can read the defense.
correct. Coach knows exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly.
I think he would. I think he would thrive in a 5 wide receiver set because that was the thing. That's the thing with IU. It's like he played with 3 or 4 other All Pros. You know what I'm saying?
No, true.
There's only enough defense to go around. So, by the time you do Debo and McCaffrey,
right,
and all them dudes, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, of course, he's on the 3rd scrub. He's going to look good.
But see, here's the thing that my initial point is a 4 wide receiver set is mainly exactly what he needs, and 5 wide receiver set too. But in special packages, Ayuk thrived in it because he can run 20, 25 yards down the field, get open, and get into the red zone. That's why I say he's a red zone wide receiver to me, because he could get you he could get you 30 yards. Why? He could actually break down the defense, like Coach said. Like I agree with Coach, he could read the defense very well, break down the defense, get open in that little soft zone in the middle where it's a 2-man under, 2-man over, and get underneath that double coverage from 30 yards down and get into the red zone. Now, the reason why the 49ers were that good, because of Brandon Ayuk, who could actually get McCaffrey some yards down the field because he broke open that defense on the left side. Now, Kyle Shanahan was brilliant because he knew that in Brandon Ayuk's defense, he needed him to get at least 15 yards to a first down. And once he undercut that wide receiver or that middle linebacker to get underneath, McCaffrey knew that linebacker had to move over enough to coverage on Ayuk so that way he can run up the gut to get that first down. That's the brilliance of Kyle Shanahan's offense. Now, if we took Brandon Ayuk out of that offense and brought him into a Kingsbury offense, it's the same way. Same way, but in a different route. He would be on the left side versus the right side, and he would have more opportunity to get out of bounds if the ball was caught. Now, let's say that he wasn't in a 3 wide receiver set. Let's say he was in a Wildcat, Joker package, where you have 2 running backs in the backfield, you have 2 wide receivers on the opposite side. You wouldn't use Johan Dotson that way because Johan would have been double teamed and that tight end would have been covered by singled. So you have Brandon Ayuk in single coverage, man coverage, to either break inside or outside. So Brandon Ayuk will get that first down on the inside as a slant. Now you have enough room to maneuver in the middle of the field. So now you bring back your 4 wide receiver set or 5 wide receiver set. If I'm right about Kingsbury, he will use the 5 wide receiver set and he will put Brandon Ayuk on the right side, outside, in the middle linebacker, Luke McCaffrey, who's in the slot. You have Scary Terry on the opposite side. Now you have a weapon. You weaponize your whole entire offense. The defense is scared, so you don't know what to do. So now they either run the ball or you throw the ball. It's most likely you're running that situation because you got man coverage on both sides. So there's nobody but linebackers in the middle. So you can outrun them. So in that same sense, Brandon Ayuk is by far the best strategist on the field because he knows that he can undercut the the corners and the safeties. So that way you have enough time to decide whether you want to run it or pass it. This is brilliant. But again, having him on the team would benefit us. I'm not suggesting that we give up anybody. If it was me, I would give up special teams because we really don't need those special teams. We can always build off of them. We can give up 1 or 2 players that are making about $10 million, and get somebody off of waivers to cover because we still have enough cap room, right? So we'll give up somebody who has 10, right? There's your 10 mil right there off the bat. Then we give up another 4 mil, which is probably a long snapper. We can always get a long snapper. We don't really need Cheese Man. I don't know what name Cheese Man. I don't know why his family named him Cheese Man. Sorry, Cheese Man, if you listen to this, has nothing against you. But I'm just saying, we can.
I get you. It's like Revere was pranking us on special teams the whole time he was here. Bringing in these, less than players. I don't mean nothing personally, but they were garbage.
Right. That's my point. Thank you. Yes.
Garbage, weird names, everything. It was like, dude.
Yes.
It's a 30-year team. Take some of it seriously.
Yes. Thank you. See, that's Eric. That's exactly what I'm saying. If you look at what he built on special teams, it wasn't even like he was playing football. He was playing rugby. And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? This guy's not good. He's a long snapper, but he wasn't even consistent. And then we gave up, what's his name? Sunbird. I think it's Sunbird. We let go a veteran long snapper who's been there for almost 30 years, and you're gonna let this guy go? He is consistent, even if he's old. He would have retired. He was good, and we let him go for what? For Cheese Man? Cheese Man what? But
who was before him? Remember the red snapper we had for a long time?
Yeah.
I forget his name.
Sunbird. This was named.
No, it was before him.
Before him. Yeah. Oh, you mean the redhead guy?
Yeah, red snapper. That's what we used to call him.
Oh my God, I forgot his name. Yeah, I forgot his name.
Played him until he was like 50 years old. He said, "Look, I just can't take a trade."
Right. I got dentures, man. I got dentures. Come on now.
But we could sleep at night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true. True.
Hey, y'all. Black Dolphins can't do, you know what? But they can.
Okay, Miriam. All right, thank you. But the thing about that was, Eric's right. We could sleep at night and we can deal with the point that he was still consistent enough to keep that position, and this is where the problem emerged. Are we actually paying attention to the severity of what this season is going to bring us? Now, I went back and looked at the Falcons years with Dan Quinn. They were riding a 5-game win streak. I think they were 5-0 at one time, and then we came along and we lost to them. And he had that team buzzing mid-year, and they were 7-1. I'm like, yo, we're in trouble.
Yeah, they wound it up. I mean, they got fired up.
Right, and not only that, that team was built from the bottom up, and that's why he was brought here. But we see that we're bringing the top down, and I'm saying to this, okay, all right.
Good point. Very good point.
So I'm up here thinking, okay, so now we're actually starting to see progress on the offensive side. We got the young quarterback who's actually phenomenal. We got the running back system that's actually 1,000% improved. We got the offensive line that's being shored up by the offensive head coach. And I'm thinking, okay, we actually doing something right now. We got the wide receiver set really set for once in our lifetime. Set. I'm talking about capital S set, right? Now we look on the defensive side. We have veterans. We have youngsters who are consistent. Now, special teams, I'm not too sure about. We got some really good players, but I'm not really, I really want Lorenzo Allen. Exactly. So we're like the defensive side. We really don't know about the special teams and defense. But if we had Lorenzo Alexander, that's who I was trying to say last show. If we had Lorenzo Alexander back on the team when he was just lights out, killing people, not literally, folks, but you just knocking people out, taking the ball out of the hands, snatching it, turnovers.
Oh, yeah.
This would have been a 1,000% football team that people would call a sleeper. As of right now, I do not see us being.
You better wake up because they're going to come and slap you.
Right. I want that. That's what's missing from this team, And I feel like we're missing that component of being the slapper instead of the slapest, right? Because when we were the slapest, we knew teams didn't want to play us in FedEx Field. We knew that if you come here, you're going to get slapped hard. But it tends to fizz out.
Your butt going down.
But we haven't really had that yet, When we had Ryan Kerrigan and we were on CBS, I was watching that on YouTube, and what I do is I analyze film on YouTube of our games that we have won or close to coming winning. When we were playing Dallas, and we had Dak Prescott on the 10 on our end, and we had Ryan Kerrigan come off as the linebacker. He saw an opening and he bull rushed. And Dak tried to evade him to throw a football and wound up knocking the ball out of his hand. And I think it was Preston Smith took the ball up and ran it for a touchdown. That right there gave me the old Hogs type of thing, type of theme. This is what we've been missing. If we can recapture that and the Brandon Ayuk aspect of it, then we're good. But we cannot give away what it's been working for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with this notion. Now, the fans that I talked to wanted Scary Terry to go. but didn't know reason why, because they feel like, it was the right thing to do. And I'm like, what sense brought you to this conclusion? Because if we give away Scary Terry and bring Brandon Ayuk, remember, Brandon Ayuk has not been in a first string
Why can't we have
all
both of
year.
them?
Huh?
Why can't we have both of them?
We can, but
They want-
we have to give up somebody, though.
But people forgot, we also got the other McCaffrey.
Well, see, that's another.
McCaffrey's brother.
So here's the thing about that. Luke McCaffrey might be a good wide receiver, young wide receiver, but he's not polished. We want somebody who's polished. No. I get.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I have studied Terry McLaurin these years, and I know you know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm like, I have not seen a lot of other receivers catch a ball like he does.
One thing about Scary
Yeah.
Terry is he shows no fear, and that is the greatest thing about
That's
him.
exactly right.
He knows that if you get him in a momentum, he's a momentum wide receiver. This is what I call him because I believe 1000% in who he is. If he's a momentum wide receiver, if you get him in his momentum, there's no stopping him. If you get him in his beginning stages, he's not going to shine. But when you get him going for 3 quarters, and he's actually flying high. He did it against the Colts. He did it against the Panthers. He did it against the Giants. He did it against the Arizona Cardinals. If you get him going, you're not going to stop him. And he's told you this. You get me going.
Very much agreed.
Yeah. So I mean, to give him up like that to a team, you're going to be crazy. And you don't gamble players like that. And this is what I said when Montez Sweat and Chase Young was here. You don't give them up. Regardless if Chase Young didn't produce or not, he is a commodity to the team.
Yep.
You don't give him up. And that's what we
To your
did.
point, I think Chase checked out early when they. I'm too much in the sack for Heineke, but I think he did see that.
Mm-hmm.
He saw how they treated Heineke and
Right.
And I think he just mentally checked out for a large part. I mean, he did what he could, but he wasn't going to extend himself. He wasn't going to risk himself.
Right.
And he just waited his time and got out to somebody where he could give 100%.
But see, that's my point.
Then he got to Frisco and he was like, there's actually some good players on here.
Right. Right. That's exactly what it was.
He went to that other team and he found out.
But see,
this is what Washington needs to be doing.
And that brings me back to my current statement previous Saturdays ago. This organization keeps giving away best players to assist other teams. Eric, you just mentioned it. Taylor Heineke, perfect example. Brian Arapahoe, Kennard Lane. I could go through the whole list.
Look, we all get it. He wasn't Montana. He wasn't Brady. But I tell you what, put his ass on the field and you will win more than you lose. Guarantee you that.
But,
oh Lord, yeah.
Yeah, 1,000.
I've never seen that team so fired up, and they started winning. I'm like, and the people were loving it.
Man,
you don't take that away from the people.
and that's
folks that pay the tickets to pay your salary. I mean, they put. I mean, it was kind of sad, but it was funny. You know what I'm saying? Carson Wentz jump up in there, and every other game, the fans in the stands will be cheering, Heineke.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Heineke, let's go get him. Now my brother turns around and tells me, "Oh, he's ours now." Hey, I'll go.
Don't remind me.
We already have a plan in place. We already have a plan in place to take him back. But we were not going to discuss it on air. But anyway, moving on to the Washington Wizards. Right?
Me offline. I need to know more about that.
Right. All right, you got it. We're going to include you in the whole scheme.
Holy shit. Hell no, they bring him back here. Oh, man. Let me shut up.
Okay. And, all right. Well, okay. Well, we're not.
Stadium.
People were losing. First we got that kid starting. And then, you can relax and enjoy the game knowing that, like, even if he was having a bad day, we just bring in Heineke?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Man, that would have been such a great combination to everybody to see. Jaden Daniels, Heineke. I mean, that would be like the perfect matchup to have on the team. And just to see him go 5 winnings deep, and then win out and go to the playoffs. We would be the first seed in the play. Okay, I'm gonna stop. We're gonna go to the Wizards before I get into it. Let me stop. Okay, the Washington Wizards.
Let me mute my mic so you can have yourself.
I appreciate it. but Washington Wizards won their first games against, I think it was the Hawks. They beat the Hawks. They had a great showing. The players were actually on cloud 9. Then they met Portland, and Sarr had his first worst game in the summer league, and people were questioning, is he the right fit for the Wizards? And my question is yes. Even though he had no points, he had no free throws, he just was horrible. But listen, it's his second game in the summer leagues. Now, I need to bring in the other player who's not with the Wizards, Bronny James. And Bronny James had his whole first and second game horrible, but his third game, he scored 13 points. So I get it. These players are now getting a taste of what the NBA is. Now, if you're not producing, well, let me also say that Carmelo Anthony's son scored 40 points, and he's doing very well, but he might have a horrible game in his last in the playoffs in the summer league. So you don't know the ups and downs of a player until you actually get their feet wet. In this case, we do see that. Now, Keyshawn George and Bub Carrington, they actually had a nice game. I'm very happy about. I'm still happy about the big three that we got. We just got to get Sarr into a point where he has to know that he has to swat the ball and make sure he has some block shots and double team. Remember, you're 7'1". You're not 6. I mean, you're not 1 and 4. You're not a midget running around the floor. So you have some height. So this is a coaching problem, not a player's problem. If you playing your players out of position, they're going to suffer on the court. So this is definitely a coaching problem. Brian Keese needs to look at the tapes, reconfigure, and get them ready for the regular season coming in October. So moving forward, I think this is a good thing for the Wizards. 1,000%. I haven't heard much of a buzz from the Wizards since we got John Wall and Bradley Beal. Now, imagine what we have right now. We have Kuzma and Poole. Kuzma and Poole in the backfield. These tandems have scored a combined 80 points. 80 points, and they're not even mentioning. That's good for us because now the NBA is going to see greatness out of these two players. Now, don't get me wrong, Wizard fans. I'm not saying that they're Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, but they're close to being Stockton and Malone. I agree that this is a Stockton Malone backcourt that we have here. Now, I believe if we get these players playing consistently, 30 points per game, this team could be dangerous. Now, most of the fan base don't want us to get into the playoffs because they still want that guy who beat LeBron James and Steph Curry before the in the scrimmage, who was a sensation. I forgot what his name is. But was it Corey Flagg? Yeah, Corey Flagg. That's his name. Corey Flagg is the sensation who actually bodied the whole entire team, quote unquote, from sports newscasters. I mean, sports insiders who did the story. I still say yes. He's a good talent, but he's not that dominant. He's not that dominant. So let's temper down this, because as soon as the league begins, he might get his first take into what it really means to be in the NBA. He'll get fouled, he'll get bodied, and then all of a sudden he goes, "Oh, I need to calm down," and then he'll probably settle in and be great. But as until right now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I think the Wizards are in a good place. They just need some structure. So, coaching staff, it's time for you to start doing your diligence and do some really good work, because this team is going to be really, really good with these three. All right, let's go ahead and move. They need to be, because right now we have really taken an age of putting youngsters and veterans together and make a really strong team. I'm not saying we're there yet. It's going to be maybe 3 or 4 years before we get really good. Really good. We are going into the Paris Olympics next. We got 4 minutes and we're almost done, folks. We're almost done. It's amazing. We got through the whole skit. But Sha'Carri Richardson, folks. Sha'Carri Richardson is back and she is upset, folks. This woman is upset that she wasn't in the other Olympics, who banned her because they figured she had some sort of steroid she took, steroid to improve her hands, and she was banned from that Olympics. But she's back, folks, madder than ever, and she's ripping up the track and field like nobody's business. The USA is is about to take majority of the gold this year, because they have really good a really good team in the swimming, track and field, basketball, and other categories as well. So folks, this Olympics is going to be gymnastics is going to be great, coach. I'm telling you, because you got Simone Biles is back. She is going to be the gold representing the USA. She is great. And folks, keep your eyes on Sha'Carri Richardson, Simone Biles, and the swim team this year, because they're going to be on fire. So with that being said, 3 minutes to go, folks. What do you want to talk about? Let's go with Big Steve and end with Eric.
Well, me, for our baseball team, the Orioles and the Nationals, for them to be good. As far as the Orioles, to go ahead and win the pennant so they can get that first round bye.
You know what? I think the Orioles are on pace to be that first round bye, because look at what they did. Oh, that's good. That's a great segue. Thank you so much there, Big Steve. The Orioles beat the Texas Rangers 9-1, and coming back from the All-Star break when they were just horrible. Gosh, I can't believe that they were in the home run derby, and Gunnar Henderson only hit 11 home runs. I am so sad, because the man just hit 28 already, and you just hit 11. Stop playing with me. All right. Well, let's go with Coach.
Don't play with any of us.
Right.
Come on.
What you want to talk about, Coach?
Hey, I got my mind on football. I'm ready.
There you go. Hey, that's all I'm talking about too. Football is great.
Looking forward to the Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm like, yes, this is going to be awesome.
I totally agree. I'm eager to see the other categories. That's probably not known for TV. Okay, somebody's watching the Olympics right now. They're watching. They're watching soccer. Messi, you can hear Messi in the background. I'm not telling you right there. Go ahead, Eric. What you want to listen to, bro? What you want to talk about?
Yeah. I can't. It's going to be interesting. I remember when Washington was the place where they coined that phrase. There's only 2 seasons, football and getting ready for football.
That's right.
But we had a Stanley Cup, we had a World Series, we had WNBA championship. So I think that was helping. But it'll be interesting to see how fast we go back to that. As far as baseball, Josiah Gray had stepped down, I guess, to the minors. He blew out his elbow.
Oh, wow.
They're talking about him for Tommy John. They're trying to help, but that's kind of disappointing. I like some of the moves they're making. The Nats are probably another season and a half away from really being dangerous contention.
Mm-hmm.
Ellie's in town. Ellie De La Cruz.
Okay.
Young talent. He's phenomenal. He struck out a lot last night, though. But I've been waiting all season to get him into town, and it's like he went like 1 for 5. I'm like, Ellie, what's up, baby? So, anyway, and then I found out I could have been at the game. Somebody I knew had tickets, and I'm gonna sit here like dying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he should make it an entertaining series, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it. Other than that, let me get off this mic, and thanks for having me.
Yo, no doubt, man. I want to thank, with that being said, that's got to be the last word. I want to thank Eric, Coach, Big Steve, and you guys for entertaining me on this weekend with your questions and your expertise. I want to think, and we got to come back next Saturday and talk about
You forgot me.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. And Miriam, you watching Messi. Without you watching soccer, it wouldn't be in the DMV Sports Show. All right. Okay.
Soccer is good.
Yeah. Soccer is great. We just got to be the winning team. But anyway, I want to thank you all for coming in and entertaining me on this weekend. So we're going to be talking about the same thing next weekend with the much of sports and Olympics. Be safe. Human first, everything second. Your conquerors by definition who will conquer your dreams. And have a great weekend. Be safe out there. Stay out of the heat. Drink. Be hydrated. And I'll see you next Saturday. So you be rest up. Watch a lot about sports. All right. So God bless y'all for coming in.
God bless.
Good show.
I appreciate it.
Coach.
Thank you.
Okay, Miriam. Okay. All right. Calm that down. Okay. I don't know what's wrong with her sometimes. When Campbell soup gets in her soul, it happens. All right. Be safe out there. God bless.
Take care, guys.
All right.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you for entertaining us, and thank you for coming in and entertaining, having a great time. We're going to be back next Saturday talking about the same topics, but with your help, we can talk about plenty other topics. So be sure to call in 512-543-4662. State your name for the record and what team you represent. And I am your host, Rousseau McGee. Have a great weekend. You're human but first, everything second. You're conquerors by definition, so go conquer your dreams. All right? Peace.